Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the kitchen. Is it too dark in here? I might have to turn the lights on. Good evening, and welcome back to my kitchen. We're going to make some chicken parmesan, which is one of my favorite dishes. And when I was a kid growing up, it was a special occasion dish. We didn't have it very often, quite honestly. And it was one of those dishes that is a combination of a lot of different things that we've already made, quite honestly. But we're going to put it all together and make some chicken parmesan. And I'll show you the way I like to do it. Hello, Richie Fano, one of the best pianists I've ever had. This evening, I hope that you have something that you enjoy sipping on, and we're just going to sip our way through this recipe. Hopefully, hi, Adam, my nephew, Adam Owen. Good to see you. Tonight, I'm drinking a Zin. I know it doesn't go with the chicken, but I'm just not a white wine guy. And in case you're wondering, this is a really good one. It's from Paso Robles, and I tried this one at the Rancho Mirage Food and Wine Festival, and the folks who put that on do such a great job. There's my wife. Hello, sweetheart. And she and I tried this. We like this one. They make a couple. That's at Paso Robles Winery. So cheers. Hello, Sue Parker. How are you, dear? All right. Tonight, I'm going to give away one of the family secrets. It's not that big a secret. But in order to start with your chicken parmesan, hi Josh, you've got to have a good marinara as the basis for the dish, right? So that's going to go on your spaghetti. It's going to go with your chicken. So I'm going to tell you how to make, hello Richard Herwig, a really easy marinara that can be ready in about 45 minutes or so. This is not the Sunday gravy where you put all the meatballs and the sausage and everything. This is just a nice, quick, fairly light sauce that you can use with a lot of different dishes. Hello, Michelle, one of my friends from Charlottesville. And I'll let you in a secret. It's all done because I usually keep a little sauce around the house. But I'm going to show you the sauce. Careful not to spill my wine. All right. It is ready to go. I'm going to freshen up. Now, that's stuff that I had here in the house. I don't know. Can you see it? Yeah, it looks really nice. Super easy and probably not very much different. Hi, Jan. Than the sauce that you make. You start with your onions, a little olive oil, right? About one medium onion. You're going to saute that until it sweats a little, until it's a little translucent. Then you're going to add in about 4 cloves of garlic. If you like more garlic, throw some more in. Hello, Tom Brewer, the pun master of Roanoke, Virginia. My buddy Tom Brewer, I used to work with him in WDBJ television. So then you're going to put in your garlic, saute that around. Now do the onions first, add the garlic later because you don't want to burn the garlic. If you burn the garlic, it gets really, really bitter, so you don't want to do that. Once you got your onions and garlic in, you're going to add your tomatoes. What I like to do, here are a couple of great brands. I use 1 can, if this is about the normal amount I make, okay? And this will feed everybody. So this is 28-ounce can right here of Chinto. This is crushed tomatoes. And then I also use another 28-ounce can of puree. And that way, you get a sauce with a little body. It's not too chunky. It's not too thick. Because remember, we're going to use this on our pasta, but we're also going to put it with the chicken. So and this makes a nice amount of sauce. And so you put your tomatoes in. You're going to add your salt and pepper. And then, again, I know it's chicken, Richard. I'm sorry it's chicken. We'll do veal parmesan for you next time. This is super easy. Get your favorite Italian seasoning. With that much, I'd put about 2.5 tablespoons, maybe a little more. I never measure when I'm making sauce. So, hello, Mimo. I never measure. So, you want to put a bay leaf in there. I love oregano, so I put a bunch of oregano. Hi, Tish, in my sauce. But again, this is a quick sauce, and then I put in some fresh basil, and I'm going to throw that in. Again, I made this sauce over the weekend, so I'm just heating it back up for this dish. But to freshen it up a little bit, I'm going to add in some more fresh basil just to lighten it up a little bit. So we're going to throw that in there. That's very nice. I've already got my pasta ready to go. I'm a little more prepared today. Even had the wine open already. The pasta's ready to go. The pan is heated, and we're going to cook the chicken now. What I've done, let's see if we can come over here and take a look at this. All right. What you're looking at is don't pay no attention to the counter back there. Just look right here. What I've done, this is, and you guys have seen this before when I make chicken dishes, you're going to be used to this. I took about a pound and a half of chicken, 2 chicken breasts. Hi, Shirley. You're in Vancouver. Okay. And I filleted the chicken breast nice and thin, and then I pounded it out, and then I dredged it in flour, salt, and pepper. So that's ready to go. I've already done it. So then you got your egg wash, which is just beaten eggs, and again, a little salt, pepper. Sometimes I throw a little Italian seasoning in there, but I'm using Progresso Italian breadcrumbs, so it's already got a lot of seasoning in it. I mix about 2 cups of breadcrumbs with about a cup of Parmesan cheese. So you got that already into the coating that's going to go on your chicken. So I dredge the chicken in flour, then I dip it in the egg, put it through the egg wash. We'll just do one here. All right, I think you guys can see this. So we're just going to make sure you get it nice and coated. Now, if you want a really, really crispy chicken breast, you can also do it twice. You can dip it twice, right? You can run it through egg wash, breadcrumb, let it firm up, then egg wash and breadcrumb again, and then you're going to get a little thicker crust on it. Remember, when you're dipping, keep one hand. You got the wet hand, you got the dry hand, so you want to make sure you do that. All right, this I've dredged in my flour already. Now it's through the egg wash, and now it is in the breadcrumb with the Parmesan cheese. When I was a kid, we didn't make this at home very often. We had to go out to the restaurant and get it. And my dad didn't like to go out to eat very often. I'm sure I told you that. And my buddy Richard Herwig, does not like chicken. Oh, hey, Paul, I'll give you a recap. We talked about the sauce. I told people how to make just a quick marinara. A couple of cans of your favorite. I use 1 can of crushed tomatoes and 1 can of puree, so you don't get the sauce too thick. You saute your onions, then you add in a little garlic, and then you add in your favorite, a couple of tablespoons, maybe a little more of your favorite Italian seasoning. I put in I don't measure when I make sauce, so I'm sorry, I can't tell you the exact. I put a bunch of oregano because I just love the flavor of oregano in my sauce. You throw in a bay leaf, and then I just put in some freshly chopped basil. I'm about to grab that lid, and that's going to hurt. Let's not do that. All right, so there's the sauce. It's ready to go. And as I was telling people earlier, I already made the sauce. I wasn't cheating. It's just I like to keep tomato sauce around the house. Now, this may look familiar. We did chicken caprese. Hello, Rick Ross. I know you're going to be playing some music soon. When I did the chicken caprese, I did that with panko breadcrumbs. This, I used the traditional Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, but again, about 2 cups of breadcrumbs, mix it with some Parmesan cheese because it's going to give you that great flavor in the crust of your chicken Parmesan. If you want a really, really crisp chicken Parmesan, you pound the chicken thin, you dredge it in flour and salt and pepper, and then you run it through the egg wash. Hello, Brad James. Hello, Sean LaBelle. Sean's in Minneapolis tonight. And then you run it through your egg wash, run it through your breadcrumb mixture, and these are ready to go into the fryer. And you can, of course, do this. A lot of people like to bake this instead of fry it. That's perfectly fine. If I were going to bake this off as opposed to frying it, I would use a whole chicken breast. And I would pound it out a little bit, but I wouldn't fillet it, because if you're going to bake it off, you're going to run a much better chance of drying it out if you do that, as opposed to these thin cutlets. When you fry them, you want them to stay nice and tender. Yes, Sean, it is our favorite chicken parm. Now, I got to put the oven on, because we are going to do a little baking before we're done with this dish. All right, the sauce is ready to go. The oil is up to temperature. Now, something I've said before. When you're frying, hi Melissa Niederman, when you're frying something like this, I don't use olive oil because olive oil has a fairly low smoke point. I use something, this is grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil smokes at about 400 degrees, so you can get it pretty hot because you want it nice and hot. Hello, Andy. You want it nice and hot because you want to get the chicken really crisp, and that's going to seal in all of the juices. And again, we're dealing with pretty thin little chicken cutlets here. So I'm going to put a couple in here. Are they hot enough? Oh yeah. There we go. Definitely plenty of heat under that. All right. I think that's too much light on there. There you go. We're going to get those nice and golden brown. We're going to cook them out. I got them on medium-high heat. As soon as you throw the chicken in, the oil is going to cool off. So you want to make sure you got this at a good temperature. You don't want to burn anything, but you want to make sure that you get a nice golden, crisp layer around the chicken. You see I've got about a quarter of an inch, maybe a little more again, this is grapeseed oil, not olive oil. Because I'm cooking at a fairly hot temperature. So let me see if I can get this camera where we can watch a little better. We're gonna need a bigger kitchen, dear. All right, where's my chicken? There it is. All right. So we're letting that chicken get nice and brown. And this is a good opportunity for me to grab my glass of wine. And cheers. I hope you guys are having a good week. Here we are. We're back sort of in lockdown again, thanks to the cases rising. And so we all have to maybe get back into our kitchens and get a little creative. Restaurants that have outdoor seating. I'm drinking an Opolo Zen from Paso Robles. Hello, Sal. So we're going to have to be back in our kitchens. Of course, if you got a favorite restaurant that has outdoor seating, patronize it. Make them feel good. Show them the love. I'm going to get these nice and browned up. They're not quite ready to flip over yet. Yeah, Tom Fisher. Yeah, I'm having vino tonight. No Jack. I'm having a little vino. Usually I'm a bourbon guy, but tonight I just felt like a nice glass of wine. And I don't do white wine, even though I'm having chicken tonight. And I might put a little splash of that Zen right into my sauce before I serve it. All right, so we're going to get these nice and crispy. Now I've put my oven on, and I put it on a low broil, and you'll see why in just a bit. All right, so we got that. That is pretty. I want you to get a look at the color on that. Look at that. Isn't that nice? So that's right about where you want it. Flip it over. We're going to get them nice and browned. You want to make sure that the chicken, again, we're dealing with the chicken cutlets that have been pounded nice and thin, so it doesn't take long to cook them off. I'm chasing this one around the pan. So there you go. That one's ready to flip. We'll flip that over. And like I said, if you like a really crispy and a little heartier crust on your chicken parm, you can dredge it through I do the flour first, then I do the egg wash, then the breadcrumbs, and remember the breadcrumbs mixed with a nice Parmesan Reggiano, you got the real thing. You can do it through the breadcrumbs twice. Just let the first layer firm up and let it essentially dry out a little bit, and then dredge it again, and you'll get a thicker crust. I like my chicken parm really crispy, but I don't like the really heavy breading on it. So this is a way to do that and get it nice and crispy. And the way I serve this, you're going to see how I do this, and it's a great way to make a really nice, crisp chicken parm. Oh, those are coming out nicely. That one's just about ready. That one needs another second or two. But we're all going to be back in our kitchens cooking, so we might as well have some good recipes. Tom, what kind of bourbon are you drinking? My friend Tom Fisher is watching, and he's got the job that I always wanted. He's a bourbon expert, and he travels the country talking about bourbon and doing bourbon tastings, and seriously, it's my dream job. All right. These look really good. I'll make sure they're good. All right. I'll take them out. You'll see why in a minute. I got this nice bacon shoot. All right, so that's perfectly golden brown. That's ready to go. I'm going to set that over here for a minute. Well, let's cook off the other two real quick while we're at it. Nice hot pan. Hello, Jennifer Hunt. How are you, dear? Good to see you. All right. So we're going to let those. I don't know who I'm having over for dinner. This is a lot of chicken. But it's nice to be able to have some different recipes. Tom answered my question. He's having Kings County bourbon from Brooklyn. We did taste that at the Ace Hotel. Hello, Timothy Chrisman. Again, my buddy Tom Fisher is a bourbon expert. He does bourbon tastings. He does it at the Ace. He's done it at the Purple Room. And hello, Karen Vire, my good friend from Charlottesville. We grew up together. Her dad and my dad worked together. Hello, Jan, invite me. Richard's busy. Richard, you don't like chicken. If this was veal Parmesan, you'd already be at the front door. And Tom, I have to tell you, Phyllis and Nancy, whom I met at our bourbon tastings over the course of several months, we've become friends, and we actually did a social distance bourbon tasting over at their place not too long ago. Hello, Stacy. How are you doing? So, I want to show you the chicken again. It's looking nice. This is the second set of cutlets. Does this help? Does the light help? It kind of washes out. Okay, let's check that. Now my sauce is ready to go, and we talked about the sauce, and you can use your favorite family recipe. If I were going to make my the family gravy, as they say, this is the second batch of chicken I'm doing, Tom. That's the starter. If that sauce were going to be like the meat sauce, we would throw in meatballs, and we'd throw in the Fulvio's Italian sausage, and we'd slice up in chunks about a ½ inch long a stick of pepperoni. Throw that in your sauce the next time you do that. You're going to thank me for that tip because it's absolutely fantastic. All right, now, while those are cooking off, I'm going to show you what we're going to do to help finish off this dish. I don't know if you can see my little ingredient table over there. So I had the stuff for the sauce, but look at that. Fresh mozzarella, as we used to say, okay? I'm going to put a couple of slices of fresh mozzarella right on top of the chicken, and then we're going to broil it until it's nice and melty. And then I'm going to show you the secret to how to make your chicken parm stay nice and crispy. So let me do that over here. There we go. Oh, uh-oh. All right, you can see that. So, and you can use the nice shredded low moisture mozzarella if you want to. That's fine. Just put see, I like a lot of mozzarella on mine. It's so nice. There we go. All right. And we'll do the same thing with these as soon as they're done. So we're still cooking over here. I meant to cook 2 of these off in the first place, but it's so nice when we first fire up the camera to see the pan before it gets all of the breadcrumbs in it. Hello, Tom Sullivan. How are you? So this is a dish that we didn't eat very often. My buddy Richard Herwig is often on these videos, and I think he's there. And it's very funny. We eat a lot of dinners together, me and the Herwigs. And Richard does not eat chicken at all. He just doesn't care for chicken. And he's never told me the story why. I made up a story about why he won't eat chicken. But in my family, my dad was more of a meat and potatoes guy or a pasta guy, and then we'd have to have the meatballs and the Italian sausage. He wasn't a huge chicken fan, but my uncle Peter, refused to eat chicken all of his adult life. When he was a teenager, growing up in Irvington, New Jersey, which is where the Italian side of my family comes from, he worked at a chicken processing plant. And he said, it's just a matter of, he said, there was nothing horrible, it wasn't terrible, it was just, he spent all day doing that, and he just couldn't bring himself to eat chicken, and he never did. He lived well into his 80s and never ate another piece of chicken. But I happen to love chicken, and you're going to love this chicken parm. All right, these are ready. That one needs another minute. All right, so I've got the chicken fillets. They're fried, they're ready to go. I'm gonna grab another one here. And then, once again, you've got this nice fresh mozzarella. Oh, it's beautiful. So we're just gonna put the fresh mozzarella on there like that, all right? These are ready to go. We're going to pop them onto the broiler. just like that. You're going to broil those off, and a couple of things. I'm going to let that one finish up. That filet was a little thicker, so we'll deal with him later. But he looks pretty good. Thank you, my chicken friend. All right. So the other thing about the way I do this, and you can bake these. You don't have to fry them first. You can, but if you're going to bake them, I recommend you use a whole chicken breast because you don't want it to dry out. Shake and bake and ragu shake and bake and ragu. Tom, never in my house. Hello, Karen Devine. How are you? Between news, what time is it? You should be on TV, aren't you? But I love chicken Parmesan, but I like it nice and crispy. And so often when you go to a restaurant, or even sometimes when you make it house, it's you go to all the trouble. It doesn't, because you fry it. My wife just asked, does the oven dry out the chicken? And the answer is no, because we're broiling it. We're not going to bake it for very long. And we've already seared it in not olive oil, but in grapeseed oil. So we've seared it. And I know Donna, Tom's like that, but he and I are old friends. He can say stuff like that. So then you throw it in the oven just long enough to melt that cheese, all right? That's what you want to do. And I'm going to go check on it. Oh, we're almost there. And the nice thing is, as the cheese is melting, the rest of that chicken is going to get nice and crispy. So, the way that I keep my chicken parm nice and crispy is this. All right. We went to all the trouble of making a nice sauce. I think you guys can see. Yeah, you can see this. All right. I'm just going to put a nice spoonful of sauce right on my plate. All right? Just like that. And you can see the consistency of the tomato sauce. Sometimes it's not super thick or chunky. It is nice. What wine would you pair with the Parmigiana? I'm drinking a Zin because I don't drink white wines. A lot of people would go with a white. With a chicken, you can do something that's like a Pinot Grigio, something nice from Italy. Of course, my wife is a big Chardonnay fan. All right, so I'll put the tomato sauce, and that's where we're going to put the chicken. But we want a little pasta to go with our chicken parm. So I've already cooked off my pasta. It's sticking together a little. Never rinse your pasta. Don't do it, because you wash off all of that. There's a little starch in your pasta water, and that's okay. And what I'm going to do is take a little bit of my pasta. Pardon my fingers. It's my kitchen, I can do it. There we go. And I'm going to put it right in the sauce, just like that. This is going to make a big mess, but don't worry, I'll clean it up before my wife gets home. We'll set that right there. All right. There's my spaghetti. And let's grab our chicken before it gets overdone. Ooh, ooh. We're close. Woo, woo. Super hot. All right. I'm gonna burn myself for sure. Look at that beautiful chicken. It's all melty. Set that right there. And instead of dousing into the sauce, just place it right on top of the sauce. Now, you've got, and I'm sorry the plate's so messy, but you've got beautiful chicken Parmesan. You've got that gorgeous, fresh mozzarella. And you can do it with the shredded mozzarella from the store if you want to. I've got oven mitts somewhere, Nan. I don't know where they are. They're over there in that drawer. But I just lay the chicken on top of the sauce. That way you're going to keep that breading nice and crispy when you cut into that chicken, and you've got the delicious marinara with the pasta, and it's ready to go. And really didn't take that much time. I pounded out the chicken earlier before we went on the air. Hello, Patrick Harrington. So this is just a great dish, and it's great to feed a bunch of people. It's always delicious. The sauce is fairly light, and it's ready to go. So it's dinner time. So you got your carbs. You throw a nice little salad in here. Get my buddy Bob over here to make his Caesar salad like he did last week, and you got a great meal right there. So remember a couple of things. Number one, if you want a thicker crust on the chicken, run it through the egg and the breadcrumb twice. Mix your breadcrumb with some Parmesan cheese. I fry it and then broil it off in the oven just to melt the Parmesan. And then you're ready to go. And always make a little marinara, keep it. You can throw it in the freezer. It freezes beautifully, and then you just thaw it out. My mom used to just make a whole bunch at one time and freeze it in little containers that would be perfect to feed everybody. So enjoy. It's not a hard recipe. And now that most of our restaurants are not serving very much, it's time to start making stuff at home that we love. Wendy, I went at 5 o'clock, but this video will be on my Facebook page. It lives there. I don't take it down, so you can check out the entire recipe. So I say to you guys, please tune in tomorrow morning for Friday News Channel 3. I'll be there bright and early. And of course on CV 1043. Have a great Thursday evening. And now it's time for me to manja before my chicken Parmesan gets cold. Have a great night.